Hey everybody, Big Bear here with a quick guide for other users of the Ender-5 Max who have maybe run into a little bit of trouble with their stock machine. Likely, if you're anything like me, you picked up the 5 Max because you were a fan of the 5 Plus or you were impressed with its large build size, and shortly after you got it, noticed that maybe it struggled a little bit with extrusion. And the reasoning is actually pretty simple. I have right here the Ender-5 Max Hotend, and it uses the old style brass nozzles that you might expect on the last generation of Ender machines. Now, these were notorious for having back pressure and retraction issues, but at 50 millimeters per second, it was still something that you could functionally use. Printing at 3, 4, or 500 millimeters per second, unfortunately, this design falls short. Now, if you own the machine, chances are you've already done a little bit of research and know where I'm going. And what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be taking the Unicorn nozzle that we would normally use on our K2 Plus or our high combo, and we're going to be taking advantage of it with the Ender-5 Max. Now, we're going to actually need to physically buy an entire K2 Plus hot end assembly, just like this one, and we're just going to be easily swapping over a few parts to make that change. Now, we do need to be comfortable with soldering. If you're not, you need to find a friend or get comfortable if you want to make this repair. And additionally, we're going to need a few extra tools, which I'm going to go over right now. Here are all the components we need for this change gathered together. Let's go over them quickly. First, we have the complete hot end assemblies for both the Ender-5 Max and the K2 Plus. We have thermal or metal grease here that comes with the K2 Plus and Ender-5 Max. We have the smaller screw that we need to disassemble our hot ends, everything we need for soldering. We have our hacksaw here, although you can use a Dremel or whatever it is. That is for this copper tube. I'm going to go ahead and put a link to the Amazon store that I bought this from. These dimensions must be exact, or you will not be able to properly use the Unicorn hot end. So do not just buy any copper tubing or try and guess. Use the dimensions that are on the screen right now. They are non-negotiable. Here we have our two hot end assembly. Now, what we're looking to do is retain the 5 Max ceramic heating block, but use the remaining heating element from the K2 Plus. Right away, we have a challenge in that the 5 Max's hot end adapter board is considerably farther from this heating element, and its wiring is much longer as a result. So what we need to do is completely break down both of these hot ends, swap the wiring, and add our copper tube to assist with the heat. So let's start with that breakdown. We're going to need to identify the different grub screw locations for the thermistor, the hot end itself, which will be 2 on the K2 Plus, 2 on the 5 Max, and you're going to want to loosen that center grub screw on the 5 Max. And that'll allow us to remove the thermistors and completely remove the heating elements. Please note there are silicone spacers here. You need to keep them. Do not let them roll away or throw them out. All right, as you can see here, we have both hot ends broken down. We're going to go ahead and discard the original heating element from the 5 Max and replace it with the one from the K2 Plus. And we're also, of course, going to bring our Unicorn nozzle over. Now, this is cut down to about 10 millimeters. This is to transfer heat from the heat assembly into the ceramic block and prevent that heat from going into the filament path, which it will otherwise. So this does not work without that copper tubing. Do not try and skip it. Fortunately, our thermistor is just going to go ahead and plug right in. Right here, we will have to cut this to solder in the longer wire. It's important to note this copper sheathing is not the actual wiring. You'll need to remove that. If you solder to this sheathing, it won't provide power and it won't work. Now that we've added the longer wires to the K2 Plus heating assembly, we're going to take our little copper tube and add some of our thermal grease and insert it in here where it will seat. And then we'll put a small amount of thermal grease on here and slide that in and secure it with our spacers and screws. Once you've done that, reinstalling it on the machine is exactly the same as the original hot end.